Hi there. This time of year I get a lot of phone calls from people who, through their questions and their problems that they're having baking, I can tell they haven't had a lot of experience, or it's been a long time since they did this task. And it should be fun, and there are some easy ways to make it that way, and one is to make sure all of your ingredients are fresh. That means that if you've had your baking powder for 10 years and you've moved it through 5 different apartments, it's probably time to get a new can. There's an easy way to tell if your expiration date on the bottom of your can is way past whether the baking powder is active, and that is to take a little bit of water and put a little bit of baking powder in it, and you should get a fizz. This is actually a brand new thing of brand new can of baking powder, so we should be getting a little bit more fizz. So I've put more. There we go. There should be lots of bubbles. Try it in about a half. Try about a tablespoon and a half cup of water, and if it fizzes like this, you're good to go. Otherwise, get a new one. There's not a really great way of telling whether your baking soda is fresh, but you know, it's really cheap. Just get a new box and put the old one in the refrigerator. The other thing that people seem to have questions about is flour. Unless a recipe says otherwise, you should be using all-purpose flour. There are lots of other kinds, and that includes self-rising. And what that means is that you've already got the baking powder and your leavening ingredients already inside. If you use that in flour for a recipe that doesn't call for it, you're going to have a mishap. Another tip is to get an oven thermometer. Most ovens are off, and it's enlightening to get one of these. They cost about $5. You can get them at the grocery store, you can get them at a big box store or a small local store, whatever you want. But they're about $5. You hang them on the rack, and it will show you that it doesn't matter how new your oven is, unless it's just been calibrated by a professional, it's probably off at least 25 degrees. Mine ranges from 35 to 25 degrees off. Another thing to note if you're just starting out is that you need 2 sets of measuring cups. You need a liquid measuring cup, like this one, which measures liquids, and you need a dry set of measuring cups. They are not the same. You will get different results if you use a liquid cup versus a dry cup. If you measure a cup of water in this, it's not going to be the same as if you measure a cup of water in that. Finally, I want to talk about butter. This is a big butter time of year, and there's a lot of nonsense out there. If you go to Land O'Lakes, they will tell you that if you melt your butter and your recipe doesn't call for it, you need to start over again. Well, you know, ideally, we should all think about an hour ahead of time to put our butter out on the counter and to leave it there. But I've gotten impatient, other people get impatient. It's not a cake. If your butter melts, go ahead and use it. Don't waste it, don't throw it out. It's a cookie. If there's sugar and fat, people are gonna love it. It's not gonna be exactly as it was in the recipe, but it's gonna be just fine.